The blood on the alley floor was blue, and there was far too much of it. 12-year-old Finn Carver pressed himself against the dumpster, watching the massive creature struggle for breath in the narrow space between buildings on Station Tarsus 3. The being was easily 5 meters long, covered in scales that shimmered like oil on water, with wings folded tight against its serpentine body. A Draconar. A dragon diplomat. One of the most powerful species in the Galactic Council. And someone had left it here to die. Finn had lived on the streets of Tarsus 3 for 4 years, ever since the transport accident that killed his parents and left him stranded on this trade station with no citizenship, no rights, and no future. He knew every alley, every hiding spot, every place where the station security did not bother to patrol. This alley was one of those places, a forgotten corridor in the lower industrial sector where the desperate came to hide and the forgotten came to die. The dragon's eye, massive, golden, with a vertical pupil, tracked Finn's movement with failing focus. Its breathing was labored, and the blue blood pooling beneath it suggested internal injuries beyond anything Finn could treat with the basic first aid he had learned on the streets. "Go away, human child," the dragon rasped in perfect standard, though its voice was wet and broken. "This is not your concern. Let me die with what little dignity remains." Finn should have listened. Should have backed away and let nature, or more accurately, whoever had done this, take its course. Getting involved with council politics was suicide for someone like him. He had no protection, no status, no value in the eyes of station authority. But Finn had learned something living on the streets that most comfortable people never understood. Sometimes the only thing separating you from complete despair was one person who decided you mattered. "I am not leaving," Finn said, moving closer despite the voice in his head screaming at him to run. "Can you tell me what happened?" The dragon made a sound that might have been a laugh if it had not been choked with pain. "Poisoned. During the trade negotiations with the Vrexian Consortium. They waited until I was alone, then administered a toxin that mimics natural organ failure. By the time anyone finds me, it will appear I died of natural causes. Very convenient for those who do not want the Draconar interfering with their weapons contracts." "Who brought you here?" "Station security. Told me there was an urgent message. Then sealed the alley exits and left me. They are being paid well to ensure my death remains unnoticed until it is too late." Finn felt rage building in his chest, the familiar, helpless anger of someone who had watched injustice over and over with no power to stop it. "How long do you have?" "Minutes. Perhaps an hour if I am unlucky. The poison is efficient." "Is there an antidote?" "Yes. In the diplomatic quarter medical bay. But I cannot reach it, and no one will listen to a street child. Even if you tried to help, they would dismiss you or have you arrested for trespassing. I am sorry you had to witness this, young one. Go. Forget you saw me." Finn's mind raced through options. The dragon was right, no one would listen to him. Station security would laugh him out of the precinct or worse. The diplomatic quarter had guards that shot first and asked questions never when dealing with street kids. But there was one place where information mattered more than status. One person who traded in secrets and had no love for corrupt authority. "Stay alive," Finn said, already moving toward the alley exit. "I am going to get help." "Child, no one will help me. I am already dead." "Not yet, you are not. And I am really good at not dying. Trust me." Finn ran. The lower commercial sector was a maze of cramped shops and black market dealers that existed in the gray area of station law. Finn navigated it with practiced ease, ducking through crowds and slipping past security checkpoints that most people did not even know existed. He was looking for a specific shop, a place that dealt in information, rare goods, and occasionally, miracles. The sign read Salvage and Sundries, but everyone knew it was really called Nowhere's Emporium after its owner. Nowhere Kale was a Kathrani, a four-armed alien with compound eyes and a reputation for knowing everything that happened on the station. She also had a soft spot for street kids, often trading food or supplies for information about things happening in the sectors where official eyes did not reach. Finn burst through the door, breathing hard. "Nowhere. I need help." The Kathrani looked up from her counter, mandibles clicking in what might have been concern or irritation. Finn, what trouble have you found now? There is a Draconar diplomat dying in alley 47C, poisoned. Station security left him there. He needs the antidote from the diplomatic medical bay. Nowhere's compound eyes widened. You are talking about Ambassador Korvax Thrane. He vanished 3 hours ago during the weapons treaty negotiations. The Vrexian Consortium has been searching for him. Or pretending to search. They poisoned him. They want him dead before anyone realizes the treaty is fraudulent. Can you help? Nowhere's forearms moved in a gesture that suggested deep conflict. Finn, if I interfere in council politics, I will lose my business license. Worse, I will disappear just like everyone else who crosses the consortium. I cannot risk it. He is going to die. And you are going to get yourself killed trying to save him. Think, child. You have survived 4 years on these streets by being smart. This is not smart. Finn felt tears burning in his eyes, though he refused to let them fall. I know. But someone has to care. Someone has to say that this is wrong. If everyone just watches and does nothing, then what is the point? We might as well be dead inside. Nowhere was silent for a long moment, her compound eyes studying him with an intensity that made Finn uncomfortable. Then she moved, forearms pulling items from various shelves with practiced speed. You are going to get me killed, street rat. But you are right. Someone has to care. She handed him a small injector filled with luminescent blue liquid. This is Draconar antitoxin. Black market medical supplies I acquired for emergencies. It should counteract most common poisons. Get it into his system quickly, every second counts. Finn grabbed the injector. Thank you. Do not thank me yet. Getting the medicine to him is the easy part. Once he lives, questions will be asked. The people who did this will come looking for whoever interfered. You understand what that means? I know. And you are doing it anyway? Someone left him to die like garbage. Like he did not matter. I know what that feels like. I cannot just walk away. Nowhere's mandibles clicked in what Finn had learned was the Kathrani equivalent of a sad smile. You are either the bravest or the stupidest human I have ever met. Probably both. Go. Save your dragon. But Finn, afterward, you come back here. I am going to need to move you somewhere safe before the consortium realizes what happened. Finn was already running. He made it back to the alley in record time, taking shortcuts that would have been impossible for anyone who did not know the station's hidden passages. The dragon was still alive, but barely. Its golden eyes were dimming, and the pool of blue blood had spread. Still here, Finn said, dropping to his knees beside the massive head. I told you to trust me. Foolish child. You should have run. Yeah, well, I am really bad at doing smart things. Finn examined the injector, trying to remember the basic medical training he had picked up from street clinics. This is going to help. I need to inject it into your bloodstream. Where is the best spot? Neck. The scales are softer there. But child, listen. Once I recover, there will be consequences. The people who did this will not simply accept failure. You will be in danger. I am always in danger. That is just being homeless. Finn positioned the injector against the dragon's neck and pressed the trigger. The blue liquid vanished into the dragon's body. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. Then the dragon's breathing began to ease. The labored gasps became steadier. Color returned to the scales. The golden eyes brightened with returning awareness. By the ancient fires, Korvax whispered. You actually did it. You saved me. The person I got the medicine from saved you. I just delivered it. The dragon struggled to lift its head, and Finn helped support the massive skull. What is your name, child? Finn Carver. Nobody important. Just a street kid. Nobody important. Korvax's voice carried a strange tone. I am Ambassador Korvax Thrane, first speaker of the Draconar Conclave, mediator to the Galactic Council. I have negotiated treaties that have prevented wars. I have brokered peace between species that had hated each other for millennia. I have been honored by 1,000 worlds. And right now, the most important person in the galaxy is a 12-year-old human who nobody considers important. Finn felt his cheeks flush. I just did what anyone should do. But most would not. That is the tragedy of civilized society. We have rules and systems and procedures that make it easy to ignore the right thing in favor of the convenient thing. You had every reason to walk away. You chose not to. That choice will have consequences neither of us can predict. Before Finn could respond, the sound of boots echoed from the alley entrance. Multiple footsteps. Armed and moving with purpose. They are coming, Korvax said, strength returning to his voice. The consortium will have monitoring systems. They know I am alive. They will not risk letting me speak about what they have done. Finn looked around desperately for an escape route. The alley had been sealed, that was the whole point of bringing the dragon here. They were trapped. 6 figures entered the alley, all wearing Vrexian Consortium security armor. The leader, a tall reptilian Vrexian with scarred scales and cold eyes, raised his weapon. The dragon should be dead. And you, street rat, should have minded your own business. Now we have to clean up 2 bodies instead of 1. You cannot do this, Finn said, trying to keep his voice steady despite his terror. He is a council diplomat. Killing him is an act of war. The Vrexian laughed. No one is killing anyone. The ambassador suffered a tragic accident. And the homeless human who tried to rob his dying body was dealt with according to station security protocols. That is the story. That is what the records will show. No one will question it. Korvax tried to rise, but he was still too weak. The poison had been neutralized, but recovery would take time. Time they did not have. Finn stepped between the dragon and the advancing soldiers. It was a futile gesture, he was a 12-year-old human child facing armed professionals. But if he was going to die, he would die standing between the innocent and those who would harm them. You will have to go through me first. That can be arranged, the Vrexian said, raising his weapon. Then a voice echoed through the alley, amplified and carrying the weight of absolute authority. I would not recommend that course of action. Everyone froze. From the alley entrance, a new group appeared. These were not Consortium security. They wore the black and silver armor of the Galactic Council's Enforcement Division. Leading them was a human woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many wars, Commander Ilara Stone, head of station security for the Council itself. Commander Stone, the Vrexian said, his confidence faltering. This is a Consortium security matter. You have no jurisdiction. Actually, I have every jurisdiction when it involves the attempted assassination of a Council diplomat. Lower your weapons. All of you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, violation of diplomatic immunity, and about 15 other charges I will have my legal team add later. You cannot prove anything. Actually, I can. Stone held up a small recording device. Nowhere Kale contacted me the moment young Finn here left her shop. We have been recording this entire conversation. You just confessed to attempted murder and falsifying records. On camera. While wearing Consortium security uniforms. I would call that all the proof I need. The Vrexian's expression went from confident to desperate. He raised his weapon toward Finn. Then the child dies with me. He never got the shot off. Korvax, despite his weakened state, lunged forward with speed that defied his size. One massive claw swept the Vrexian aside, slamming him into the alley wall with force that left him unconscious. The other security officers dropped their weapons immediately, smart enough to know when they had lost. Ambassador Thrane, Stone said, approaching carefully. We are glad to see you alive. When Nowhere Kale contacted us about the poisoning, we mobilized every asset. I apologize it took us so long to reach you. You arrived exactly when you were needed, Commander. any sooner and we would not have the clear evidence of consortium involvement. Korvax turned his massive head toward Finn. And you would not have witnessed the courage of someone who has every reason to hate authority figures yet still chose to do what was right. Stone looked at Finn with an expression he could not quite read. Finn Carver. 12 years old. No legal citizenship. No guardian. No official existence on this station. Yet you managed to navigate black market contacts, acquire restricted medical supplies, and save a council diplomat's life. That is quite impressive for someone who does not exist. Finn felt the familiar fear rising. No legal citizenship meant no protections. Stone could have him arrested, deported, or worse. I just did not want him to die. So Nowhere told me. She also told me you have been living on the streets for 4 years. Surviving on your own. Helping other homeless children when you can. Building a network of support among people the system has forgotten. Stone knelt down to Finn's eye level. How would you like to actually exist, Finn Carver? How would you like citizenship, housing, education, and a future? Finn felt his throat tighten. Why would you do that? Because Ambassador Thrane is going to request it formally, and the council will approve it because denying the request would be politically embarrassing after you saved his life. But more importantly, because you deserve it. You have proven that character has nothing to do with status or wealth or power. You are exactly the kind of person the galaxy needs. Korvax moved closer, his golden eyes warm with something Finn could only describe as pride. I would like to make an additional request, Commander. I would like to sponsor Finn for training in the diplomatic corps. He has demonstrated the exact qualities we value most: compassion, courage, and the willingness to do what is right regardless of personal cost. If he is willing, I would be honored to mentor him. Finn looked between the dragon and the commander, unable to process what was happening. Hours ago, he had been sleeping in an alley, scrounging for food, wondering if he would survive another winter on the streets. Now a council diplomat was offering to change his entire life. I do not understand. I am nobody. Just a homeless kid. Why would you do this for me? Korvax lowered his massive head until his eye was level with Finn's face. Because you saw someone in need and helped them when helping could only bring you trouble. Because you risked everything for a stranger. Because you are not nobody, Finn Carver. You are exactly the person I have spent my entire life trying to find, someone who proves that heroism is not about power or status but about the choices we make when no one is watching and nothing is forcing our hand except our own conscience. Tears Finn had been holding back for hours finally spilled down his cheeks. I just did not want you to die alone. I know what it feels like to be abandoned. To have everyone walk past like you do not exist. I could not do that to someone else. And that, young one, is why you matter more than you will ever know. Korvax turned to Stone. Get him somewhere safe. I need to make some calls. The Vrection Consortium just made a catastrophic error. They tried to kill me to protect their fraudulent weapons contracts. Now I am going to dismantle their entire operation and make sure the galaxy knows exactly what they have done. Over the next 3 days, the galaxy learned what happened on Station Tarsus 3. Ambassador Korvax Thrane called an emergency session of the Galactic Council and presented evidence of the Vrection Consortium's attempt to assassinate him. The recording Stone had made showed consortium security admitting to the poisoning and falsifying records. The investigation that followed uncovered decades of corruption, illegal weapons sales, and treaty violations. The consortium collapsed within a week. 17 executives were arrested. For governments had to explain why they had been receiving kickbacks. The weapons treaty that would have destabilized an entire sector was torn up and rebuilt from scratch. But the story that spread fastest was not about the consortium's fall. It was about the homeless human boy who saved a dragon diplomat. The media could not get enough of it. Finn's face appeared on newscasts across known space. He was interviewed by reporters who wanted to know how it felt to be a hero. Artists created paintings showing the moment he stood between Korvax and the armed security officers. Finn hated every second of the attention. 3 weeks after the incident, he stood in Nowhere's shop, watching her pack up her inventory. The Kathrani had decided to retire while she was ahead, using the reward money the council had given her for her assistance to buy a small transport ship and see the galaxy. "You are really leaving?" Finn asked. "I am. This place served its purpose, but I have been in one spot too long. Time to move on before someone decides I know too much about too many things." She handed Finn a small data chip. "That contains contact information. Private, encrypted channels. If you ever need help, real help, the kind that official channels cannot provide, you call those numbers. There are people across the galaxy who owe me favors. Now they owe you favors too. I do not want favors. I just want things to go back to normal." "Normal?" Nowhere's mandibles clicked with amusement. "Child, you saved a council diplomat, brought down one of the largest criminal organizations in the sector, and became the most famous 12-year-old in the galaxy. Normal is not coming back. I just wanted to help someone." "I know. That is why you are so dangerous. You do not want power or fame or reward. You just want to do the right thing. People like you change worlds, Finn Carver. Whether you want to or not." After Nowhere left, Finn made his way to the diplomatic quarter. Security recognized him now. He had full clearance to visit Ambassador Thrane whenever he wanted. It still felt surreal. He found Korvax in his residence, a vast chamber designed for beings of draconic size. The ambassador was fully recovered, his scales gleaming with health, his wings repaired by the best medical technology available. "Finn. Come in, come in. I was just reviewing your placement tests." "Placement tests?" "For the Diplomatic Academy. You are still planning to accept my mentorship, are you not?" Finn hesitated. The offer was genuine. He had full council citizenship now, housing in the diplomatic quarter, access to the best education available. Everything he had dreamed of during 4 years on the streets was being handed to him. But something felt wrong. "I am grateful," Finn said carefully. "For everything. The citizenship, the housing, the opportunity. But I do not know if the academy is right for me." Korvax tilted his massive head, golden eyes reflecting curiosity rather than disappointment. "Explain." "When I was on the streets, I knew every homeless kid in my sector. There were dozens of us. Some as young as 6. They are still out there, still struggling, still invisible to everyone who matters. I got lucky because I saved you. But what about them? Who saves them? Who cares when they need help? You want to help them instead of pursuing diplomatic training. I want to do both. But I cannot just leave them behind. That would make me just like everyone else who walked past me for 4 years. I want to use this opportunity, this status, this attention I am getting to actually change things for people who need it. Not for politics or treaties or grand gestures. Just for the kids sleeping in alleys who nobody thinks are worth saving." Korvax was quiet for a long moment. Then he laughed, a deep, rumbling sound that shook the chamber. "Finn Carver, you continue to surprise me. I offer you the galaxy, and you want to focus on one station's forgotten children. Is that wrong? Wrong? It is the most right thing I have heard in centuries." "Very well. Here is what we will do. You will accept admission to the academy. You will study diplomacy, law, and politics. But you will do it while remaining here on Tarsus 3. And you will use everything you learn to build systems that actually help the people who fall through the cracks. You will become my protege not by imitating me, but by teaching me what I have forgotten after too many years in political chambers. You will remind me that the point of all this diplomacy is to help people, not just to maintain order." Finn felt something loosen in his chest. "You really mean that?" "I do. And Finn, I want you to understand something. You think you got lucky because you saved me. But the truth is, I got lucky because you saved me. I have spent 200 years as a diplomat. I have negotiated treaties and prevented wars. But I had forgotten what it felt like to be powerless. To be abandoned. To be left to die because helping was inconvenient. You reminded me. You gave me back something I had lost, the understanding that all our grand political work means nothing if we cannot help one child in an alley. 6 months later, Finn stood on the observation deck of Station Tarsus 3's newly opened shelter for homeless youth. The facility had been funded by a combination of council grants, private donations, and penalties collected from the Vrection Consortium's assets. It provided housing, education, medical care, and job training for 200 young people who had been living on the streets. Beside him, Korvax watched the children playing in the common area below. You did this, Finn. Every child here is alive and safe because you refused to walk past someone in need. We did this, Finn corrected. You used your diplomatic influence. Nowhere spread the word through her network. Commander Stone pushed through the legal authorizations. I just had the idea. Ideas are how all great changes begin. One person deciding that things should be different. One person willing to act when everyone else watches. Below, Finn saw faces he recognized. Kids he had shared alleys with. Ones he had traded food with during hard winters. They had homes now. Futures. Hope. Ambassador Thrane? Finn said quietly. Thank you. For not dying that day. Korvax made a sound that might have been laughter or might have been something more emotional. Thank you for not letting me. And Finn, call me Korvax. We are partners now. Partners do not stand on formality. Finn smiled. 4 years ago, he had watched his parents die in a transport accident. He had been stranded on a station where he did not legally exist, forced to survive on the streets with nothing but his wits and his refusal to give up. He had been invisible, forgotten, dismissed as worthless by everyone who had the power to help. Then he had made a choice. He had helped someone when helping could only bring him trouble. And that choice had changed everything. The media had called him a hero. Politicians had praised his courage. Artists had painted his image. But Finn knew the truth was simpler. He had just been one person who decided that someone else mattered. That life had value regardless of status or power or political usefulness. That the right thing to do was whatever helped another being survive another day. And somehow, impossibly, that had been enough to shake worlds. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe for more. Thank you.